Hello guys, welcome back onto the Dutch couch. So Oliver Glasner and Crystal Palace, in my opinion, are an absolute match made in heaven. Unbelievable job from him and the club, from the club top down. Unreal. I mean, they're 18 games unbeaten, right? That is the second longest unbeaten run from any team outside of the big six, as they call it, all that bullshit, right? I watched this game on Saturday against Liverpool. Let's not forget, Liverpool are the champions, right? They were sitting 5 points clear in this. They're the best team in this country, right? Spent absolute untold money. Not only did Crystal Palace compete with them, that first half, mate, they absolutely blew them away. Unreal. Glasner, I'll tell you what, he goes into so much detail. He analyses everything in his opponent to get the best out of this Palace side. He's doing it, mate. It is unbelievable. It could have been about 5 or 6 up at half time. And not only did they get pegged back, to 1-1, they still had enough in the tank to go into the 97th minute and grab a winner. Unbelievable. Says everything about this man. He's instilled belief, hunger, desire, trust in each other in this team. Unbelievable. He improves players, right? Totally improves players. What he's done with, I'm looking at Mateta. What he's done with him is he's just on another level. When I used to watch Mateta, Jean-Philippe Mateta there, I'd think, all right, he's a presence, he's a nuisance, he's a big man, he can win a header. He's so much more than that. This guy has improved him so much. He's intelligent. His movement off the ball now is much better. He's a clever player. And what Glasner's doing cleverly, I think on Saturday he even played 2 number 10s behind him there. Unbelievable. He just sets up a team perfectly to exploit the weaknesses of the opponent. He's adaptable. That's a massive thing I say on my videos. The top managers are adaptable. He's going toe to toe with the top managers and exploiting flaws in them tactically. He done it to Arne Slot on Saturday. Unreal. I think he's another level. And I think Slot's another level. I think Glasner is stepping up again. I think he's another level on top. Unreal. Unreal. He's used Mateta perfectly. He's made him look like a top draw Premier League striker. I think he's scored 29 goals in 55 Premier League games. That's a bloody good strike rate. Especially at a club that's not seen as top dollar. But they are getting there. Trust me, this club from top to bottom are growing. What they used to be a bit of a yo-yo club back in the day. Those days are long gone. The hierarchy there, Steve Parish and co, mate, they've done an absolutely brilliant job at this club. This is a club that a few years ago ceased to exist. I'm sure I watched the game on telly years ago. I'm sure it was at Sheffield Wednesday. The last game of the season. Might have been a fact that they might have gone down and they was struggling to exist or something. The difference now, they're in European football. Incredible turnaround. I watched this Palace team. This is a massive tribute to Glasner, I'd say, as well as the rest of the club, right? I look at Palace play at home. They fear no one. They don't care who you are. They don't care for reputations or how much money you cost. They will play you. They will go toe to toe with anybody at Selhurst Park. Couple that with that great crowd behind them. Mate, on Saturday against Liverpool, honestly, Liverpool being the champions of England, right? I'm looking at this thinking, they probably go to Palace and maybe grab a win today. It's just like Liverpool, they'll grind out a result. They had no chance. Palace swarmed them. Palace absolutely peppered them, battered them for the first 45. We knew second half Liverpool were going to come out, being 1-0 down. Being 1-0 down away to Palace on Saturday for Liverpool was a great result. It could have been 5 or 6. So they came out thinking we can't get any worse. If we improve here, we can turn this round. Honestly, they were incredible. I'm seeing them away from home. A big difference in Palace, mentality-wise, over the years. I used to think they were a bit of a soft touch at times. They always had what they've always done well. They've always recruited well. They've always had what I'd call a lot of street footballers. And me being a lover of Ajax Amsterdam, I love a street footballer, right? They've always done that. They've always recruited good street footballers, Mavericks and real footballers, which I call them, players who play with freedom, try something different. Zaha, players like that, brilliant, right? But they're now away from home. I'm looking at them, I'm thinking, you're not a soft touch anymore. Defensively, you are compact, you are solid, but you're an attacking threat. They've got both sides of the game down to a T under this manager. It's all down to this manager. When they appointed Oliver Glasner, it was an absolute masterstroke, genius masterstroke. And it's, for me, it is vital that they get him tied down to a long-term contract. But we all know in modern football, long-term contracts don't really mean anything these days. You can just get a nice bit of bunts for him, which will help recruitment-wise. But the effect that he's had at this club, I'm looking at them, they are, like I said, away from home. They fear nobody. They don't care who you are. They will come to your backyard and they will go toe-to-toe. They'll take you on. They won't change their game. They don't change for anybody. That's a big compliment I give Palace. They've got their style. They have an identity. Glasner has a way of playing. He trusts it. And more importantly, the players trust in it. I'm seeing from this squad of players, since Glasner came in there, they have trust in one another. They have trust in him. He has trust in them. And also, what's important, I think he knows when to call them out. I think there was a game that might have been at Man City where I think he dragged Mateta off and he had to come out. People were asking, why'd you take him off? And I think he was really upfront with why he took Mateta off and what he needs to do better. Man management skills. He doesn't rip people to shreds, but he gives you a little gentle reminder of what's expected of you, what standards he has set there. And Mateta's come on. Look at him now, playing out of his skin. He looks happy, like all those players do. They've got so many good footballers there, it's unbelievable. Defensively solid. Obviously, we know about Mark Gahey, fantastic, right? Richards at the back. I've got to be honest, I didn't know much about him before he came here. I thought he would struggle. He looks colossal. He looks unreal. I love Munoz. I think he's a fantastic player. In that cup final against City, mate, that guy, I think he's still running from that day. He has an engine. Tyreek Mitchell, he has improved him massively. He looks a different player to me. He just improves players. I don't think I could look at one player he's took under his wing who has regressed at all. He's that good a coach. Well-oiled machine. They are such a well-oiled machine now. When you play Palace now, there's no easy game for you. There's no easy game, even on your own patch. You know Palace are coming and they're prepared to come and win 3 points. Don't matter who you are. You saw that on Saturday. I keep harping back to that game, but I was so impressed. So impressed by that. But they lose players. They lose these top draw players. Obviously, they lost Zaha. They've lost Eze now to Arsenal, right? Who I think he'll smash it at Arsenal, playing centrally. Unreal player, right? They lost Elise to Bayern Munich. Do they sit there and sulk and say, oh, we're not really going to compete now because we're losing big players? No. The mentality has changed there. They're now recruiting well. I'm looking at the signing of Yeremy Pino. When he signed, I'm thinking, mate, he's a fantastic, technical, quality player. See him Saturday. I think the fans already love him. The fans can see his quality already. Fantastic signing for a fraction of the price that they got for Eze. So they've made money and they've also brought in a top-notch player. I think, like I said earlier, I think he played as one of the number 10s on Saturday. I think Sarr was the other, behind Mateta there. Unreal. So he's looked at that. He's looked at Pino. The recruitment has really improved there over the years. The people who are analysts, data analysts, whatever they're looking at, the scouting network, they're picking the right players. But more importantly now, they're picking the right characters. Massively important in the modern game where the game is full of egos, full of attitudes. They're picking the right sort of players and characters to come into here and for it to be seamless, which it has been. Unreal. A club that ceased to exist a few years ago. Unbelievable. I think they've got the 5th best defence in the Premier League since Glasner took over. So he knew where He started, I think that was his basis. He started from a basis there. He knew defensively that to be strong. I think with the players they've got, there was always going to be an attacking threat anyway. There was always going to be creative. They've got a few maverick-like players on the ball. They try different things. Players play with freedom. That's very rare in this systematic, robotic, modern football. He's created that well-oiled machine, this man. And I'll tell you what, he's a winner. He's an absolute winner. His mentality is there, elite. I think he won a second division title in Austria with Lansk, I think it was. He went to Germany. Obviously, he won the Europa League with Eintracht Frankfurt. Great achievement. Another great achievement. He's obviously come to Palace. And when he come there, I'm not thinking he's took a step down, but I think he's ready for a top European club. And that's no disrespect to Palace, like I just said. Great club, great community club, great family club, right? Really soft spot for him. But he's come in there and he has totally galvanised it alongside with Steve Parish. I'll give him a mention at the end because I think he's top draw, Steve Parish. But Glasner's galvanised it. It all seems like it's all come together at the right time. The relationship's there. The chemistry on and off the pitch is bang on. Tactically, everything seems bang on. As a camp, the environment seems bang on. And last season, obviously, it was special for Palace. The Palace fans, if any Palace fans do watch this, there might be one or two people who actually watch this, right? Honestly, let me know in the comments how special last season was. That FA Cup run, and the final in particular, I remember watching that final, and I'm sitting there thinking, all right, it might be a bridge too far today. I think Man City, with the experience at Wembley, they might come and take it, right? Mate, honestly, Palace done an absolute job on them. Palace played their own game. Eze was brilliant, obviously. Munoz was brilliant. Obviously, the keeper saved the penalty. But what they created last season, on the back of that, after the game, to see those Palace faces, let's not forget, this club has never won a major trophy in its history, its entire history, since it was formed, right? In the late 1800s, whatever, early 1900s. Not won a major trophy. To go to Wembley against Man City with a squad that's worth absolutely ridiculous amounts of money, with Pep Guardiola, who's touted as the best manager of all time, nowhere near for me, in my personal opinion, they've turned them over. And to see the faces of those Palace fans after that game, there was grown adults crying, there was young kids who were having a time of their life. And I'll tell you what, I'm a neutral. I'm not a Crystal Palace fan, right? But as a football fan, I could not get drawn into that. I couldn't not get drawn into it. You know, it was so emotional. I've even got goosebumps thinking about it, and I'm not a Palace man. It was brilliant, and that is what football should be. And it was great for me too to see an unfancied team, a team that doesn't compete for these big trophies, get one over on a big boy that has been funded by stupid amounts of money. And modern football has been sort of diluted because of this sort of stuff. That was brilliant. And I loved it. And not on top of that, they went and beat Liverpool, the champions of England, at Wembley to take the I'll say the Charity Shield. It's the Charity Shield for me. They took the Shield as well. So 2 victories at Wembley within a few weeks. Unbelievable. Brilliant stuff. This is a team, right? Sadly, now I'm going to say, sadly, they had a bit of disappointment in the summer. Obviously, you had the co-ownership problems with John Textor and Olympique Lyonnais, right? So Palace obviously qualified for the Europa League due to their FA Cup win, right? They've now been demoted. We know they got demoted. I think they appealed in the Court of Arbitration. They got demoted to the Conference League. It's a downer. But me as a neutral, my first thought was, as much as it's a downer, I think it can also be a positive. Because this European trophy, the Conference League, what West Ham won, I think Palace have a genuine, great chance to win this European trophy. Can you imagine successive seasons after a century or whatever, not winning a single bit of silverware, winning the FA Cup, the Charity Shield, Community Shield now, and a European trophy. That will be on another scale. And I truly believe, and I massively hope that it happens. I would love to see it. Love to see it. They are building something so special there. Like I said earlier, they've got the identity. The recruitment has improved. The owner wants success. He has from day one. He's a true football man, Steve Parish. They seem to have everything in place to be a success. Whereas I look at so many other clubs and they look in an absolute mess. The likes of West Ham United, who I've done videos on. Palace, West Ham, totally different planets at the moment. It's unreal. But yeah, so I mentioned Steve Parish. I've got to give him a mention because when I look at football owners, and I do quite a few videos on owners of football clubs, and I do call them out and slaughter certain ones who I think are just shocking and haven't got the best interest of the club at heart, right? This is a very rare one for me, Steve Parish. I think he's not only, he obviously loves Crystal Palace, right? He's a businessman, first and foremost, we know that, right? But he loves Crystal Palace. Everything he's done is a basis for them to succeed. I think I read something earlier, 2015, he said, within 10 years, there's no reason why Crystal Palace can't win the league. People must have scoffed at that. All right, they're probably not going to win the league in the next couple of years or whatever. But the fact that he was confident back then and he had aspirations, and now they're achieving what they have, says so much about the fella. It says so much about him, about his character, about his intentions and his love for his football club. Because they've been through some bad times there, I've mentioned it already. So many clubs that don't look after their supporters properly, that don't run things properly. This man, any interview I've seen him in, always comes across well. When I see him in interviews where he's talking about going through the courts of arbitration, about the Europa League fiasco with the co-ownership and John Textor, you could see it. Everything came from the heart. Everything. He's just genuine. And I can only imagine, I don't know in depth on the Palace fans' thoughts on Parish, but I can only imagine that they think he's unbelievably good. I'd love to get your comments on that as well. But yeah, I think he's brilliant. So many clubs run badly in the Premier League in particular. But now Palace, final word I'm going to say, Palace, after so many years in not only the wilderness, but in trouble, struggling to stay afloat, now have an identity, a way of playing. I think they have the neutrals' respect. I think neutrals like Palace. They like the way they play. They like how brave they are on the field of play. They have a squad of players that absolutely are on board. They run through the brick wall for that shirt for the manager. They have a manager who's absolute world class. Tactically, he's top dollar. I can't see a flaw in him. I really can't. He's got personality, he's got presence. There's an aura about him. Paramount that you keep hold of him. Everything for me at the moment with Crystal Palace is as good as it gets. But with this man in charge, I think it can even get better. But yeah, thanks for watching. Love to get your comments and press the old subscribe button if you don't mind. I'd really appreciate that. And yeah, on the next one, have a great one.